Hi everyone, Becca here. Happy Thursday. Now I'm really excited for this live today. I'm going to be joined by Freddie Maros, who is the founder and CEO of Mindstream. It's a fantastic company, and it offers salons and spas wellbeing focused music. They've done some great things, and Freddie will be here to talk to us all about the importance of music in salons and spas, and how it can elevate the client experience and benefit your businesses via that. So really excited to talk about that. And of course, if you have any questions, just drop them below. But I'll add Freddie. And of course, this will be available to watch later if you're not able to watch now. So don't worry about that. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are
Not
you?
too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Still recovering after professional beauty.
Do you know what? I think I just missed you. So I came to the stand and you weren't there, and then I couldn't see you later, which is a shame.
Oh, what a shame. Uh,
But it's like it went really well for you.
it was a great event, actually. It was a nice couple of days. We spent we were showcasing a partnership we have with Oakworks, the vibroacoustic bed there, and it was really fun actually getting to hear the reception, what people were doing with music already in their spas and salons, and just having good conversations. And then we went to the World Spa Conference as well, which was really interesting. Some great speakers, and then obviously the gala and party afterwards was always fun as well. So it was good.
All the busyness, just like, oh.
Exactly. Ready to relax and recover now, though. I think the one thing I've found since joining the wellness industry is how well you do both sides of things. People party very hard and then recover very hard, which is a good way to live, I suppose.
Absolutely. So why don't you start and tell us a little bit about why you launched Mindstream and why you felt like it was needed?
Sure. Yeah, I mean it's interesting. So our background is actually not really in wellness at all. We're from film and television. So our parent company, Cutting Edge Group, is the leading independent provider of music for film, TV, advertising, gaming, essentially all forms of media and music. And about 5 years ago, we acquired a catalog of wellness music. It was a label called Real Music. Really wonderful quality of musicians within it. You know, people like Liquid Mind, who's one of the most commercially successful sleep musicians of all time, or Peter Cater, a 14-time Grammy nominee, two-time winner. So we knew we had a really quality group of musicians and a great catalog to work with. And we felt like, well, we could just, manage this as well as we do our film music and everything will be great, which absolutely was not the case. We didn't realize how different wellness music is just intrinsically to music within media, which the core difference is in our background, music for film and television, it's entertainment. It's art and entertainment, and that's the kind of core primary purpose of the music. Whereas in wellness music, of course, the artistry is still critically important to what's being created. But there's a different purpose. It's functional music. It's looking to elicit particular physiological or psychological outcomes. So we had to start getting to know and understanding the research. We wanted to understand how can we empower our artists to be able to create in an informed environment where they can make these creative decisions, but can also optimize the music they're creating to be as functional as possible. And that's been an incredible learning curve for a few years. So I think to answer your question, why did we want to get in this space? Um, I think what's clear is that music in all of the wellness industries, spa certainly being a good example of it. It's been a cost center for a while. So, music has been provided as a service. Often, that service is just curation of pre-programmed playlists, and it's left there to rotate at a regular-ish interval, maybe we'll call it semi-regular interval. And that's just not what music is in entertainment. Entertainment music is an investable asset that provides and generates value for the client. So the value is understood. It's much more strategic. You can create music and make it an extremely powerful tool to drive better experiences in the scene, call it the scene or the movie, or drive value to those who are actually the customer of that music, so actually generate ROI. And so what we felt was a gap or a missing was twofold. One, the ability to be a strategic partner to the wellness industries from an audio standpoint, and to leverage that ability to create music, to flip the script from music being cost to now music being a revenue generator for a spa or a salon or any other particular partner we get to work with within the wellness industries.
Fantastic. I mean, it's so important to switch that focus, isn't it? Because, I mean, so you've sort of mentioned it slightly, but music has a really powerful effect. And as you said, it can, be used to create certain feelings and emotions. So, for wellness in particular, tell us a little bit about how music can impact us.
It's a good question. I mean, there's so many different ways it can impact different types of people, as well as also for particular modalities. I mean, a good example I like, and we experienced on Sunday night after the gala was, you know, it's understood in retail environments or even in F&B, how music can be used to drive consumer behavior. So you may have experienced at a point in your life where you've walked into a really loud bar where the music's pounding, and immediately you go straight to the bar and buy a drink just to cut the tension, right? Because it's just everything's kind of you can't sit down, you can't get comfortable, you can't start having chat and conversations and just kind of let the ice be broken that way. It's very much an intentional decision. The music is set at a particular decibel level that will drive that tension and will try and influence your particular behavior as a consumer. And in that particular example, it's to drive your consumption patterns to buy drinks. Clearly, that's not the best wellness example, but it does showcase the value that you can have if you think strategically about where audio can fit. And so, when you look at it in wellness, certainly if you think about what are you trying to achieve for your guests as they enter your spa or salon? Are you looking to try and energize them? Are you looking to try and help them relax? Are you trying to influence them to go to a certain space? Maybe it's pre or post treatment. You want them to spend additional time to wind down. Maybe you're looking to try and upsell a particular post treatment relaxation experience. These are all things that if you consider those questions at the beginning, much like the industry's done very well with aromatherapy for a few years now, audio can play a really strong role in helping to drive those consumer behaviors and deliver those particular outcomes. Because absolutely, audio has the ability, the power to influence physiology and psychology in different ways, which means that when you think about it strategically, you can influence your consumer behavior as well for the guests who visit your salon or spa.
I think that's so interesting, some of the examples you gave there, because I know some of the salons and spas we've talked to, I think they think, oh, I'm not very spa-like, if you know what I mean. I'm quite upbeat, energetic, but music can be tailored to all sorts of spaces, can't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we were very proud of the deal we just did with
Mm.
Timberland, where we're now the wellness music partner to Tim, and who would have ever thought Timberland would be producing spa music, but he will be, and he is, and it's going to be very cool spa music. And I think the thing is that panpipes, the India type styles of spa music that we all know and somewhat love or somewhat don't, they are there to stay in their own context, and certainly they have their time and space. But that's not the only style of music that could be relevant to your location. And I think this is the thing where if you start thinking again strategically about what do you want your location to embody, do you want it to be upbeat and energetic? Great. Well, absolutely, the audio should mirror that wherever possible. Do you want it to have a particular cultural feeling, a locality to it? Great. We can think about Brazilian influence if that's where your clientele are predominantly from, or if that's the influence that you want to showcase because you utilize Brazilian ingredients in your products that you use, or you have that particular influence. Audio again can absolutely reflect your image as a location and a brand, but it doesn't have to be so one dimensional in terms of spa music equates to nature sounds and or panpipes. That's absolutely not the case, or it doesn't have to be the case, certainly. So some of the collaborations we're working on at the moment with people like Timberland are particularly to try and break that mold, to try and showcase that spa music can be music, in a spa, and really it's about defining what style fits the individual location and kind of just trying to break the mold to some degree, but still make it fit for purpose. Because I think that's the critical thing.
Mm.
The reason it's always been panpipes and that kind of natural sound is it has this ethereal sort of resonance as something which is very relaxing, and the music has worked as a relaxation tool for a while. But in my view, it's lazy to think that's the only way that you can do it, because you can think creatively about, well, I know as a person who enjoys house music, that house music is often used for focus, or for focus and relaxation in particular context. So I think the onus isn't to say, well, let's just plug and play house music that I would use for an energizing night out, into a spa environment. It's thinking about how can you reimagine the properties that work really well over here in this particular style and genre, and the properties that work really well over here in the spa, and you mold them to create something new and interesting. I think when you work with high quality creatives, you have the ability to be able to do that.
Fantastic. And I'm very excited for the collaboration with Timberland. That's going to be great.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be good. We're planning our the first release of the first project. So he's doing essentially a color series. So he's got yellow being the first color that he really feels and is trying to create the sound to, which evokes a whole bunch of emotions in his head and moods in his head. So that sound of yellow will be coming out first. First track of that project will be in May. So we're really, really excited for it.
So interesting with the colours actually. I can see it. I get it. It's a feeling, isn't it?
When he talks about it, you can see the whole thing like an audio visual experience. It's going to be, I mean, the guy is an absolute creative genius. So I'm just as a fanboy more than anything else, I'm just there sort of waiting and ready to listen to the next thing he delivers, just excited as everyone else. So it's going to be great.
Fantastic. And I mean, you've talked about this a bit, and I guess it completely depends on sort of what a salon or spa wants to create. But how can music then elevate the client experience? What can it bring to them?
Yeah, I think it's about the intention of what you're already looking to do, and then music being a partner to that intention. So, in a simple word, immersion. Trying to whenever I think about what a spa and salon are trying to do, you're selling experiences, you're selling stories around those experiences. You want people to come in and feel a particular thing. So, audio has an incredible a series of incredible properties, but one of which is it's transportative, and it's incredibly memorable and experiential. So in that single sort of value chain, you can see why there is the opportunity to utilize audio as one of those tools in the toolkit of allowing your customers to feel something. So if I give you just a simple example, when you talk about storytelling and attracting more guests in, and having them spend more time with simple upsell or sort of pre or post treatment, you can think about, there's spa and salon industry as a whole have really gotten behind scent specifically, in the last handful of years, and a lot of them have invested into creating or procuring scents that are really fit for purpose for their particular location, and they've invested in them.
Mm.
Fantastic. Each one of those scents, more often than not, has a story they're telling as to why they are worthwhile for that investment. Maybe they've sourced ingredients, they've got a particular outcome that they help you deliver. They have maybe they're organic, maybe that's part of their pitch, maybe they're sustainable, and that's part of their pitch. All of them have this kind of concept of, you're not just buying me because I'm just going to be there and be something you sell. You're buying me because I am telling you a story that fits your particular brand persona, and you can have me in your location and improve the experience that your guests can have. Fantastic. So, as an audio partner, when you talk about how to create additional commercial value and immersion within your location, I can now see, what have you currently invested in? Maybe it's a scent, maybe it's equipment. What are you looking to try and tell as your story, and how can we reflect that? So, as a simple example, if the aromatherapy company that you've decided to partner with have sourced their ingredients from Brazil and France, why don't we use native instrumentation from those two regions? Why don't we blend them together to create a soundtrack that fits exactly the outcome they're looking to achieve? Let's say it's energizing. Let's say we've already, found out that you're someone who wants to have that uplifting feel within your location. These are all incredible touch points, but more importantly, you deliver music that's of high quality that can immediately immerse your guests because it will feel relevant to your brand as they walk through. And it's got this storytelling device because it knits together what you're already doing very well within your location, which is bringing in products that you trust, that you want to be an ambassador of to those guests, and then completing it to make it a multi-sensory experience. Critically, when we're talking about driving value, of course, we're talking about two things, which is one, elevating experience in location, but two, driving commercial value. So wherever possible, when we talk about creation of music and delivering that value, we always talk about it in both scenarios where you improve the experience, but you also deliver ROI. And quite in simple terms, whenever you create music, there's an opportunity to monetize that music. We can deliver it to the Spotify's, the Amazons, the YouTubes of the world. We can earn royalties on it. We can then create partnerships with the brands we work with so they get a cut of those royalties. These are completely fresh revenue lines that have never been accessible to locations previously, that we're able to open the door to because we're thinking strategically about how audio can not just be a cost center, but can be a partner to the business.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's so interesting to think about music in this new way, and it can really boost businesses, can't it? As well as, improving the client experience, it is beneficial to the business themselves.
Absolutely right. It helps to acquire customers, help them spend more when they're there, and
Mm,
helps bring them back afterwards. Because the beauty of music, when thought about with the level of strategy and attention that it should be, is it can be relevant to the brand, it can be relevant to the products, and it can make sure that it lives both in and outside of the property.
mm,
And that has incredible branding properties as well as also commercial properties. So across the full value chain, audio can be an extremely powerful device, but it has to be thought about strategically
mm.
to fit what you're looking to deliver, and then you have to have the ability to deliver it afterwards. So it's exciting that the industry is embracing as a whole. These are all, it's a relatively novel concept to the wellness industries, but these are very well established commercial patterns that are used every day within the entertainment world. So none of this is crazy groundbreaking stuff, as it were, from one industry. But in this industry, it really is because it's gonna change how people see the value of audio. Which, as I say, in simple terms, it doesn't have to be a cost center. It can be a revenue driver,
Mm.
and it is in every aspect of entertainment and brand building within the other industries that we work in.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It really is. I feel like my mind's opening to this. I'm like, wow, it's just so fantastic what you can do with it. And I wanted to talk to you as well about, you've done a lot of work with neurodiverse communities. Um, Obviously, music can be hugely beneficial for clients like those. So tell us a bit about how music can be tailored to them.
Yeah, I think it's as simple as different neurotypes have different ways of processing audio. So I think it's the same concept of tailoring towards a brand or a product or an experience. It's just understanding that there's an additional dimension of the person who's listening and experiencing that music will have a way of processing that you want to be able to cater for wherever possible, because you want to make sure that the music's as impactful for anyone who's coming in as you can. So it's just an additional dimension to think about. And whilst it's some of the work we've done, for instance, with neurodiverse children in school and education environments to help improve focus, it's the same kind of general principles that we apply there are also very relevant for end of life patients in full-time care with dementia. It's actually very equivalent, the audio processing abilities in different phases. So you start seeing these different patterns and you start thinking about, well, how can we deliver audio to support different communities and neurotypes as well as also experiences. And again, it's another story, but when you can talk about it and you can be supportive to your clients as well as also people in general, which is always a good thing, and you can deliver a better experience. What was actually interesting, one of the things which we had never considered, which for the very first time was brought to our attention at Professional Beauty, that we now want to go and study and actually run some observational trials and get further into the weeds on it, was there was a really lovely woman who came over and had Tourette's and used the vibroacoustic beds with the music that we were displaying, so the Oakworks bed and the music. And she said that whilst lying on the beds, her tics stopped completely. And actually, there was a halo effect after she left the bed, and that her tics didn't return for an abnormal amount of time. So, uh, my theory is it was because we've worked a little bit within the Tourette's community, but not anywhere near enough to be able to speak with confidence. So I need to do some research. But my theory is that with the right kind of music that embraces those vibroacoustic benefits and technologies, particularly when coupled with the heat therapy,
Mm.
you can have some really interesting muscle relaxant properties, which we could potentially use to really benefit the Tourette's community. And so where I start thinking is, of course, there's benefits there for spa and salon, but then you have all these corporate well-being programs where they need to be able to support and retain talent and do so inclusively. And so all of a sudden you now have these principles that you can apply and investigate, which is where it gets really exciting. You can actually start running more research. You can start running some trials, and you actually have the opportunity to potentially make an impact in some people's lives, which from anyone's perspective is always a thing that's worthwhile doing. So that just happened this weekend. So we're learning more every day and all the time. And I think a lot of our work, and I mentioned at the very beginning, moving from entertainment into wellness music was realizing how much we had to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're ever going to stop learning, is the honest answer. I think we've opened up a world of research, which is one of the most arduous and long-term things. But it's work that has to be
Mm.
done and actually is extremely joyful and fulfilling to do. So yeah, we're looking forward to that next set of studies as
Yeah,
well.
that's so fascinating, isn't it? Wow. You have to let us know what comes of that
I
research.
will. I will.
So tell us a little bit about what Mindstream offers then for sounds and spas like those watching.
We have a basic subscription service, which is our software called The Stream, and you can trial it. It's for free for a couple of weeks, and essentially it is all intentionally curated music specifically for spas and salons. So we've only considered and only built the stream just for these particular purposes. And what we've done is we've categorized our music specifically by different mood outcomes that are looking to be achieved and durations. So you can specifically map it to a treatment. What we want to do and what we're trying to move the industry towards is much like you'd have an aromatherapy offering at the beginning of a treatment. So maybe you have your five different scents that a guest can select from based on their preferences, but all still very expertly curated.
Mm.
There's training materials to support why different properties work for that particular treatment. We want to do the exact same thing with music. We want people to be able to walk in and have different soundtracks that are again refreshed regularly, so you don't think you're going to be playing the same piece of music time and time again. There's a significant amount of music, but we want to be able to offer that experience of expert curated with
Mm.
intention for that particular treatment that you can use to position yourselves as the experts when you're guiding the guest through the ability to choose for that particular treatment. So that's kind of the basic thing that we do in terms of just getting into to work with us. If you look at our website mindstream.com, and you'll be able to join the free trial for that. And then separately, we work with partners, or I shouldn't say separately because we do it as well as in tandem with that subscription service. But we work with partners to be able to understand specifically how audio can be more value driver to them, more of a value driver to them. So if we're looking at signature treatments they offer that we could potentially create a soundtrack to, if it's sonic branding elements where we can create, I'm trying to think of is Coca-Cola's Sonic logo, and you can do some cool things. Like again, all of these are very well trodden sort of ideas in the entertainment world. Like, the fact the Coca-Cola logo, they had an incredible campaign. Just as a quick sidebar, apologies for taking you on a tangent here, but Coca-Cola had an incredible campaign using their audio, their Sonic logo back in 2012 for the World Cup, the Football World Cup, where they had Kanan, who is a phenomenal artist who wrote "Waving Flag," which was the sound of the World Cup, and it went do 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 do
Mm.
do 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 do. So you could hear that they immediately got this whole track, which became the backing track of the World Cup, embedded with their Sonic logo. They then re-recorded it in 18 different countries in different ways. So they had different instruments that were relative to to the particular countries they were being distributed in, which made them feel extremely relevant.
Mm.
And whilst that experience of feeling relevant is great. The value was they sold directly as a result of that audio campaign a 5% increase quarter over quarter in their direct sales from Coke cans, essentially, or various different Coke products. And they were now able to benefit from a royalty share in all 18 different recordings of that particular track. So you had now a direct revenue opportunity and an indirect revenue opportunity. So we're doing the exact same thing within spa and salon, where we're thinking, well, if you have a location and you have different products and you have different treatments, all of a sudden you have these opportunities to create branding moments where you have audio that's relevant to you, uh, consistently delivered. So you develop those familiarities, you develop that brand loyalty and recall, and you create music within those frameworks. You have an ability to monetize that music in property and out of property. So it's the exact same concept. It's just making sure you think about it strategically and identify where you can make the impact quickest or first. And so that's why we often think first about, what's your signature product? What's your signature treatment? How can we really help audio show up for you there first, showcase the value, and then we can think more holistically about, right now, let's see all of your, how can audio be a driver of, people in the door, because we'll use it as an acquisition opportunity by creating marketing campaigns that sit beyond. So like, whenever we work with partners, we bring to the table our, because we have quite an established consumer facing business. We're a strong partner to Spotify and the Amazons of the world. We have a 6.5 million subscriber base on YouTube. So we have a really strong distribution pipeline of wellness music consumers,
Mm.
which we can help promote to then say, well, if you love finding music to help you relax here, would you like to enjoy an experience here?
Mm.
And then all of a sudden you have a marketing channel that gets built into all of the commercial propositions and everything else we're talking about. So what we offer to spas and salons is one, a basic subscription so that we can immediately elevate the quality of music in location, and two, partnership more than anything else.
Amazing. What I can't believe talking to you is that, you know, the power of music hasn't really been thought about so much in the well-being industry till now. I mean, it's just transferring that sort of thought process over. It's just like, wow, fantastic.
Do you know, it's an interesting one because it's music is so prevalent, right? That everyone has an experience with it, and therefore it's so hard to fathom that it hasn't been done better, as it were. But it's a really difficult
Mm.
and complicated business on the back end. I mean, every new track is essentially a contract, and every contract has to have lawyers, accountants, rights holders, collection facilities. There's a lot of distribution. There's a lot of back office functions that require quite sophisticated functions within the businesses that manage them, particularly if you're around the process of creation. Licensing is a little bit easier, although you still have to have good relationships and be able to actually put the paperwork in place and deliver it, at quality and at scale. So the simple answer is there are only a handful of organizations within the world who have the sophisticated back office functions to be
Mm.
able to do the strategy, the creation, and the distribution at scale. And the reason that they haven't been so laser focused here is the budgets haven't been hit. Hospitality haven't been wanting to pay significant sums of money into investing in the audio side of things, and therefore the service has been sort of a race to the bottom for a long time, and it's going to continue to be until it can be delivered and showcase that value. Whereas the majors and those with that function have always focused in
Mm.
entertainment, because the production studios that have big branded IP, they have the budgets to be able to afford those services and see the value from
Mm.
those services. So I think what's happened over the last couple of years, and why we have such a desire and intention to change how this industry works, is that we see the growth opportunity. I mean, the health and wellness industry is $5.6 trillion. I have the
Mm.
privilege of sitting on the Global Wellness Institute board, and therefore I get to see the breadth and the scale of this industry and where audio touches all of it. And what it
Mm.
needs is someone who's willing to compromise at the beginning and work with the industry to grow. And that's very much what our ambition is. We want to prove the value of music. We want to be a partner to the industry. And we know that we're on a long journey to become what we believe is going to be a very important part of that industry. So it's yeah, it's always sad when you see that music's left behind. And to be perfectly honest, 20 or 25 years ago, when we first entered the film and TV space, it was also relatively an afterthought within the production of a film and television. It's only, it's relative recent times that music's been considered such a value add within them. Like we did Stranger Things 4, for instance, last year, where music was a huge part of it. That running up the hill, Kate Bush placement was a major value add to the actual production itself and to Kate Bush. That would never have, well, they had some great placements. I won't say that would never have happened. Film music and TV music had great placements pre 2000. I'm not gonna say that, but the scope of it, the scale of it, the frequency of being able to deliver those major music placements and add value across the chain from score to supervision, that's only really become so scalable in the last couple of decades, and a lot of it's because of digital provision of streaming services to access customers, as well as also social media. So the landscapes are changing, is the long answer, and I could ramble on about it forever, but I fear I'm taking you on too many tangents now, which is never good.
In. I mean, we're so excited for what you guys are doing. So tell us about what the future holds for Mindstream.
One step at a time, one partner at a time, just building up an understanding and continue to learn, I suppose. So, I mean, our future is very much more research. We want to get much more involved in understanding how we can optimize functional music across various different modalities. So a lot of work there. Investment in technology. We have this software subscription service, which we constantly want to make better and improve. So that's a big priority of ours. And then obviously content. Our business at the very heart is a content business. We care about really high quality music, working with the best quality musicians. Our partnership with Timbaland is one of the first of and a very exciting set of partnerships where I think we'll be able to bring some real talent and quality in unexpected ways. And I think that's one of the words that I want to be associated with us whenever possible. Unexpected. It's not just about delivering the quality always. It's about delivering quality that's unique and interesting and unexpected wherever possible. And so I think our collaboration with Timbaland was unexpected. And I think the next set of collaborations that we have in store for you all will also be equally unexpected. And I think that's what the beauty is, because audio now needs to enter a new realm, a new set of thinking in this industry, and I think we're going to have some fun as we build it together. So a lot in store, but it's all going to be
Excited.
good fun. Yeah.
Well, it's been brilliant to have you on today. I feel like, and I don't know, I feel a lot energized. I need to go. But yeah, it's been fantastic, and you have such amazing insights. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the conversation. I'm sorry I missed you at Professional Beauty. We'll have to catch each other at the next one.
Yeah, next time. Well, thank you so much.
Perfect.
Thank
We'll
you.
speak soon.
Yeah, speak
Bye
soon.
bye.
Bye.